So here's our emails. If you've gotten them plenty of times, and I'm sure the many emails that you have seen from us at this point, but feel free to take a picture or jot those down if at any point you do need to email us. All right, and there is your leadership team for the Tennis Academy as well as Mission Possible. Tennis Academy is running starting next week, and then Mission Possible begins the week of June 21st, and tennis at that point will also have their post week too. So Adam just likes to span the entire summer here at the J. All right, next slide, please. Some other people, just for you to make sure that you are aware of, who aren't on the screen tonight, is Matthew Rubinstein is our summer admin. So he's going to be working with Allie in the office. So when you call us at the J this summer, you may hear Matthew's voice. He's working on our back end for us. Helene Rappaport is our inclusion director and will be helping us with a lot of our camper needs this summer. And Cher Ali is our new RN, our new nurse that will be working full-time this summer. When we get to our healthcare section, I'll tell you a little bit about what healthcare will look like for pre-weeks, but she will generally be with us for the vast majority of the summer. All right, so at camp this summer, why are you sending your kids to camp? Well, because you want them to come here and have a welcoming, positive, supportive, and safe community, to grow in a Jewish environment with Jewish experiences, make new friends, participate in dynamic activities, socialize outdoors, and have fun. So that's what we're going to be providing for your kids this summer in a variety of different ways. And then in order to make sure that we are having that great summer, we need your help. And we are going to be holding all of our campers and camp community to certain expectations in order to succeed. And we need every camper to put their best foot forward in order to help us follow our guidelines. And things include having a water bottle and carrying it with them, staying on our trails if they're in an activity in our wooded area, being nice to their friends, so no violence, no bullying, keeping their hands to themselves, observing living things and not touching or chasing them, with the exception of cicadas, which we're hoping will be completely gone in the next week or two. Respect for others, respect for materials, and respect for themselves, as well as we'll talk a little bit more about that mask policy, because I'm sure a lot of you have questions about that. We'll get to that later on in our presentation. Wanting to really make sure that the kids are getting changed in the dressing rooms, and making sure they're keeping track of their stuff as much as they possibly can, and staying with their group at all times. And really with our pod mentality of keeping our groups together, we want to make sure that they're doing that. If at any time we have campers who are not following those expectations, we'll of course start off with reminders and positive feedback. We want to meet them where they are. If it's continuing, we'll have a discussion of consequences if there is something that needs to happen in that frame. Possibly stepping away from the group for a little bit, just to giving some time to discuss why those things are happening. Sometimes there might be some attention from an administrator if needed. If it's really continuing, we might have a parent conference where we set up a contract to make sure that we are helping your child at camp. And very few, but every once in a while there's a situation where it's just not the right fit here, and there's a dismissal from camp. But I'm happy to say that does not happen often at all. We really try to work with your kids to make it a great summer experience and be as preventative as we possibly can with anything that's coming up. So now I'm going to turn it over to Brad for a little bit, and Brad and Allie, they're kind of tag team for a moment, and we're going to start off by talking about morning carpool and our new health screening system and what that's going to look like.
Hello, thank you, Emily. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I am in our beautiful, wonderful camp outdoor office, for those of you who are new to our camp. When you come up to our campus, you will see directional signs that will direct you to the J Camp side of the building for carpool. Our carpool is located close to our fields, if you know our building, in the back, close to the Blue Gym and close to the Gordon Outdoors movie theater. If you do have a child that attends our Noah's Ark camp, the timing starts a little earlier for Noah's Ark, so we recommend dropping off your Noah's Ark camper first and then coming over to the J Camp side. And again, there will be directional sides for J Camps and for our Noah's Ark program. Our carpool hours are from 8:45 to 9:15. And like Emily mentioned, this year we have a whole new health screening app called Companion app. And in a little bit, Allie's going to explain to you how to download it and all the stuff with that. But I just wanted to give you a little teaser. when you go around our carpool, you will stop at the curb, and a staff member will come and take your child's temperature. We ask that the parents stay in the vehicle at all times. If your child does have a temperature of over 100.4, we will ask you to pull over, and then a nurse or someone from our medical team will come and do additional screenings. And of course, masks must be worn by adults and campers during carpool during the whole entire time. Next slide.
Hi, everyone.
Allie's going to explain our companion app.
Thanks for coming. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our companion app, which is our new screening model. So if you were with us last summer, you remember we were filling big packets out and taking your temperature at carpool. We have simplified it, and it is all located inside of an app. So if you head to the App Store or the Google Play Store, you're going to want to type in Companion. Make sure you use Companion and not Companion. Because you won't be able to find the app that way. And I know that's a mistake that has been happening. So once you download the app, you're going to sign in, and you're going to use the same login credentials that you do for your Camp in Touch account. Our Camp in Touch and the Companion app actually communicate with one another. So make sure that that is what you're using. You guys all already have an account because you guys already have a Camp in Touch account. Once you do that, you're going to see your campers' full names. If you are a family where you have had a camper in the past that is not registered for this year, you will see their name. So when you do your health screening every day, it's really important that you make sure you click on the camper that you are screening for that day. So once you do that, you're going to click on the camper. You'll be asked two different questions. One is relating to symptoms, and then the next one relates to exposure and travel. You will then answer the questions honestly, and then you'll get some sort of result for that day, for your screening for that day, and it's going to get recorded. You'll either get a pass or a fail. If you're in the carpool line, you felt comfortable sending your child, you'll most likely get a pass. So what you're going to do is you are either going to screenshot your camper's results and be ready to show it to our carpool staff. If you don't want to screenshot it and you want to lock your phone because you want to save your battery, you will also get an email confirming that your child has taken the screening for the day. If you do fail the health check for any reason, or if you know that your camper is under the weather or was exposed or anything related to that, even if it's not COVID related, please make sure that you contact the camp office right away when you receive that, or contact us the night before or the morning of as soon as you can, so we can get your attendance recorded for the day and go from there.
Great. And back to me.
That's right.
I just want to remind, just like for morning carpool, afternoon carpool, the same signs will direct you for Noah's Ark and for J camps. And our J camps afternoon carpool is 4 to 4:30. For the 2 pre-weeks, we will not be doing carpool numbers. Instead, you will come up, somebody will stop you. It might be Adam, it might be myself. We will ask for your camper's name, and then you'll be required to show camper ID. Please, 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 tonight or tomorrow, make sure to update your authorized grown-ups in your Camp in Touch account, just to make sure that's all accurate, because we will use the authorized grown-up list to double check your picture ID. And again, just like morning carpool, adults must stay in the car, in their vehicles at all times, and masks at all times as well too. So that's carpool. Okay, we hope your child, is here on time and spends the amazing full day with us. But if your child is coming late or getting picked up early, please contact Allie in the camp office. Let her know, and then what you'll do is you'll drive up to the front circle. If it's a late arrival, you'll come in, you'll get temperature checked by our front desk, you and your child. They will contact Allie or someone else from our camp team, and and Allie or someone from our camp team will take your kid to the appropriate location. And then if it's an early dismissal, you'll come, same thing, please contact Allie, please come to the front. The front desk will contact Allie, we'll make sure to get your child, and Allie will walk your child to the front. But again, the best way to do this is just contacting Allie beforehand, so we can make sure your child is picked up in a quick amount of time. All right. So we're really excited to this year be returning to our extended care program. If you're signed up for our early drop-off, that starts at 7 a.m. Until 8:35, excuse me. An early drop-off will be in our front circle. A staff member will be waiting to assist you. Same thing, they'll do the temperature checks, they'll check your companion app. And cars arriving after 8:35 will be directed to the carpool lane. Okay, and the campers will be hanging out in the upper courtyard area that's right off of the lobby. So late stay goes until 6 p.m. each day. Late stay campers will have activities in our beautiful, lovely J-Day tent. If it rains, we will use our blue gymnasium. Just like for carpool, you will follow those signs to the J-Day tent, and a staff member will be waiting to assist you. If your child is picked up after 6 p.m., there will be a late fee of $2 per minute per child. Will be applied. If you are not signed up for extended care, there's still spots. So again, contact Allie and she can get you signed up for pre-week 1, pre-week 2, or really any of camp. We still have lots of spots for that. All right, so
okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about communication. So the first thing we're going to go over is emails. So every Thursday, you are going to receive a preview email for that upcoming week. So be on the lookout for that. And then on Fridays, you'll also receive a review as well, which will kind of just go over the highlights of the week. We are on social media, so make sure you follow us. We are on Facebook at Baltimore J Camps, as well as Instagram. We do upload pictures onto the Facebook page and the Instagram every single day during camp, twice a day. So make sure that you are following us. We are also introducing all of our leadership staff on social media over the next 2 weeks. So feel free to check that out if you're curious to see who's on our amazing leadership team this summer. And then we also are going to be using the J Camps Baltimore app. So the J Camps Baltimore app, you can find it again in the App Store or the Google Play Store if you just search J Camps Baltimore. And basically, you'll be able to receive notifications from us all summer long. So the app features include instant access to camper photos. So all of the camper photos are actually divided by camp. Our photographer is going to be uploading the photos every single day at the end of the day after carpool. So feel free to check back after camp ends to see what your kids were up to that day and see their photos, as well as Facebook and Instagram, like I previously mentioned. You will also get to see our camp calendar. And what's really cool about this is the camp calendar is set for J Camps as a whole. So we have our special events that are happening and our dress up days for everybody across all camps. But if you are in tennis camp, for example, and tennis is doing a special event for that day, you'll get to see what special events only tennis is doing because it's catered to your selections in the app. Everybody that was enrolled into the app and uploaded into the app is in the first selection of their choice for the summer. So you guys, since this is our first camp that we're running, are all in tennis camp. But if you have campers that are going to other camps after tennis camp, you are more than welcome to opt in once tennis is over, once this week is over, into the other categories that your campers will be in. You'll be able to receive push notifications for dress up days. Every night before a dress up day at around 6, you're going to get a push notification that just says, hey, you know, tomorrow's pajama day. Make sure you send your kids in their coolest pajamas. We also will have weather updates if we have to go inside for heat, as well as thunderstorms or rain or any sort of inclement weather. You will receive a notification from us letting you guys know that that's what we're up to. And any sort of emergency text will go out. This is our emergency text system. Everybody that's been uploaded into the app has already has their emergency text on. Make sure that when you are going through your options, you do not opt out of that, because we do use that for our text system. And there's some other really cool features that you guys will see. You'll get instant access to all of our social media platforms on there as well, right when you open it up. So if you're not already following us, you can just download the app and you'll see exactly where our social media is. So as for who you should contact in the camp office and a little bit about our camp hours, because there are quite a few of us. So, well, not a few, it's really me and Matthew. We're the ones that are in the office all day. So for me, I'm located in the lobby office. So when you come through the front doors of the JCC, you'll see me right away. I have an office with a glass door and you can see right in it, there's a big JCamp sign. My hours for communication are 8 a.m. to 4:30. So feel free to call me or send me an email. And then Matthew Rubinstein is located outside in our outdoor camp office towards the fields. He's really in the heart of camp with a lot of our camps out there. And you are more than welcome to contact him as well with anything that is happening, any transportation changes, or, you know, if you forgot to drop something off, you're more than welcome to contact him and we will get you to my office in the right place. And there is his email as well. And then we do have a general email and phone line. So our general email is jcamps@jcc.org. Someone from our team will answer you via that email, as well as our general JCamps line, which ends in 2390. All right, and now I am going to turn it over to Adam Stein, and he is going to talk a little bit about our tennis programming.
So, hello, everyone. Glad to see everyone who's shown up. I'm really excited for this summer. I kind of say last summer I took a break from myself and from camp because, you know, we were only running half-day options. So I'm really excited to get back to the full-day option. We'll have dress-up days again. We'll have swim. You know, we'll have all of the fun different activities that we had in years past. There are some changes to the schedule. I know you can see the schedules up there, and you will have received this, but we start off with carpool in the morning. We'll receive the kids. Most likely it'll be me outside. I'll be greeting everyone, or it'll be my head pro, Sophia, and we'll get the kids out of the cars. We'll bring them into the gym, sit them down. The way that we're bunking is in years past, we've always put the kids, your own court 1, your own court 2, 3, 4, whatever the case. So that's their bunks for this summer. So not really that different, just that they'll stay with that group of kids for the entire day. You know, whether it's at lunchtime or in their activities. The only time our groups will kind of cross over is at swim time. But we're really looking forward to, you know, this year and getting back to normal, or at least more normal. And it's going to be a great summer. I've been doing this now for 17 years, or at least this is the beginning of 17 years. And hopefully I'll be doing this for 17 more. And if you have any questions or concerns, anytime, I've given all of you have my email. You also have my cell phone number. You are more than welcome to call me or text me. Hopefully nobody is going to abuse that and like call me constantly, but I give that to you because as a parent myself, I would want to have that easy access to the person that's in charge of my kids. And, you know, to let everyone know, even though I am the director of the program, to say that I'm hands-on is an understatement. I will see every single kid every single day. You know, I feel like that's very important. And, you know, I always try and watch their development. And, you know, my instructors are awesome. I mean, I exclusively hire my own students because I've known them since they were your kids' age or maybe even younger. Some of these people who are going to be working with your kids, I've been teaching them since they were 3 years old, and now they are 18 years plus. So I know they know what I expect on court, and they know how to teach exactly what it is that I want out there. And your kids are going to have a great time. And like I said, any step of the way, if there's any way I can help, please reach out to me. I always tell the kids in the morning, sometimes I'll get a telephone call overnight, you know, or an email where there was a problem that happened throughout the day. And, you know, and just let your kids know if they're having an issue on court, please tell their instructor exactly when it happens. If they don't feel comfortable telling their instructor, tell them to come find me. I am always there for them. And that way, hopefully we can get it resolved the day of instead of the next day. So anyway, I mean, I think I covered pretty much everything I intended on covering. If anyone has any questions, you can put it in the chat. Or like I said, I've given my email and my cell phone number. You are more than welcome to get in touch with me.
Hey, Adam, there was one quick question that someone had about how you separate the groups by, is it by age or mix? Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about how you separate the groups?
Sure. So what I do is I put all the names up on a board. I close my eyes and I point, and whatever I point to, that's how we do it.
I'm sorry. I meant the real reason, or the real way.
So I do it by age and or ability. More so by age, just because, you know, in this day and age of COVID and, you know, kids not really getting as much of the socialization, I feel like maybe the socializing with other kids their age has an equal, maybe even greater importance than the tennis these days. So I would rather them have that aspect. However, some of your children I know, some of your children I've taught all year. The ones that I know well, I've made sure that I have placed them accordingly. So some of the kids who I know are more advanced, I always made sure that the kids I know at least had a few friends with them, but some of them I have definitely moved on beyond their age group, just so that way they could get the tennis skills necessary. And just to let everyone know, as far as the bunks go, it is quite possible that I will be changing bunks week to week to accommodate for advancement of skills. And I always take into consideration, like I said, if I know the kids have friends, many parents have reached out to me and said, hey, Billy is friends with Johnny, Leslie, and Jose. Can they be together? And the answer is usually going to be yes. Unless it's a question of, some of the kids not being quite the skill level, but for the most part, I try and always be accommodating to put kids together that know each other, that want to be together. So hopefully that answers everyone's question.
Great. All right. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to turn things over to Stacy Deems, who is our Assistant Director of Camp, and Rachel Hertz, who is our staff lead for our Mission Possible Camp, to just tell you a little bit about what that camp is going to look like for post-week 2.
Hi, I'm Rachel Hertz. I'm the Mission Possible lead. This is my 6th summer at J Camps. I'm going to be a senior counselor, and I'm going to be the late stay lead. Yeah. And then Stacy's going to tell you about the schedule.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy Deems. Rachel also told me she used to be a camper for Adam years ago, too. So there you go. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Mission Possible schedule. You do see the activity periods there, but we've been getting a lot of questions about what's in those activity periods. So I'm going to shed a little bit of light into all of that. First off, we're going to be also doing early drop-off, late stay, carpool, right along with tennis camp, week 2, pre-week 2. So we'll be exactly out there with Adam and his crew, also using the courtyard for early drop and late stay, and using the blue gym for tennis camp. For carpool. Right after carpool is over, we do have maybe a 10-minute kind of Boker Tove good morning flagpole type of a thing. Most likely it's going to take place either in the blue gym or right outside the blue gym. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of different just fun games with the kids, a little bit of team building stuff, a little bit of get to know you games, some challenges, because this is Mission Possible, which is really the idea that like anything, just teaching the kids that anything they want to do is possible and kind of challenging them throughout the day. The next period it depends on the day, but we actually did bring in 3 Israeli counselors for the summer. We've kept it really quiet because We weren't sure until they got on the plane that they were actually going to be able to come into the States and leave Israel. But we actually do have 3 shluchim with us this summer. 2 of them are working in our J-Day program, and they will also be working with your children during Mission Possible. So we have our Israeli culture specialist, Mai, and our dance specialist, Jennifer, who will be doing some activity periods with your kids. This week, we have our sports camp team run by Justin O'Neill, and possibly some of his counselors also doing 2 activities with the kids during the week. We have Medic Howie, if anybody remembers Medic Howie, if you're a new family, he works down in the ELC, he's a paramedic, he volunteers for Pikesville Fire Department, and he is kind of bringing the idea of the school field trip to the firehouse to campus. So he's going to do 2 days of fire mission. We have borrowed some of the leadership staff from CSA, and they're also going to be running 2 activities with the kids throughout the week. That's all the morning. Then we have lunch, we free swim with the tennis camp. We change in a different location than them, just so you are aware. Those bathrooms will not fit in a COVID session, all of our children. So your Mission Possible children will be going to a different location to change after swim. And then we have our special activity period, Rachel here, who is put them all together for everyone. So there's some really great stuff coming up. We have science, arts and crafts, possibly a fun scavenger hunt. Oh, I forgot to tell you too, we have zip line open as well. So zip line and team building will also be happening twice that week. Then there's the afternoon snack and transition time. I'll tell you, afternoon snack is popsicles. You are going to think that we're giving your children gold, how excited they are to get the little freezy pops, but they get one of them every day. And then we finish off the afternoon either at the playground or the Gaga pit, Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, we are bringing in Jill Eisen, who is our Jewish life specialist. If your children have been in Habima before, you may know her as Miss Jill. She has taken over our Shababa and Shabbat activities for the summer, and she's going to be doing at the end of the day Friday a little camp Shabbat and Shababa activity. To define Shababa a little bit, it's a service project type activity that we do with the kids. This one they're actually going to be able to take home with them, which is really exciting too. Then we go back to the gym, see Adam and his tennis friends again, and their campers will meet you guys at the carpool, and the few that are staying with us will stay for late stay. The one big change for this week is the fact that our enrollment is at about 16 children. So it is going to be a very mixed age group. We did not break it up into 2 different groups. It is going to be one group, which is ranges from kindergarten to 4th graders. And it may possibly go up to 18. I'm not entirely sure. We do have 2 other seasoned counselors that will be working with us as well. We actually just sat down earlier today, which is why we were late, and planned some things out. So some of the activities, like the special activities and stuff like that, the kids will be broken out a little bit into more, like younger kids, older kids, so we can challenge them appropriately. But it's really, it's really excited to be able to teach and plan activities for a really wide range of kids and be able to be in a really small group and get them to kind of socialize in ways that they haven't been able to. I am here for any questions if you have anything else. But that's Mission Possible.
Great. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. I'm very excited for these 2 programs. It's going to be a really fun time. So now we're going to go through some of more of the specifics about general camp for aquatics, healthcare, some of the things that will apply to these camps as well as to just J camps in general. So aquatics. So we are under the guidelines of the American Red Cross. The swim program at J camps emphasizes personal safety, swimming skills, and positive self-image. For these 2 pre-week camps, we are only having free swim. When camp starts, what we consider our week 1 of during June 28th. Instructional swim will begin that week. However, it will be for J-Day, Habima, and Sports Camp, and everyone has daily free swim in the afternoon. If you ever have any questions about the swim department, you can email Shawnee's Crawford, and her email's on the screen. We totally understand that some of your campers are still non-swimmers and or have had a year off of swimming because of last summer. So we have our pool separated into 3 band areas: the red band section, the white band section, and the blue band section. The red band section is the areas for non-swimmers. It's roped off. It's an area of the pool where your children can stand. Our white band section and blue band, they have to pass a swim test in order to receive those band colors. The white band is 2 full lengths of our pool, 1 on their back, and the blue band test is 4 lengths of the pool, 1 on their back, and treading for 1 minute. They have to be a very strong swimmer in order to pass the blue band test. And they have the opportunity to retest every week. So as their swim skills get better and better, they can retest throughout the summer. The rack wall in the blue band section of the pool will be open this year during certain hours. So we're excited to be able to bring that back to camp this summer. All right. What to bring for camp? I know some of you were asking this already. A tutu on Tuesdays, because why not bring back Tutu Tuesday at J Camps? A costume on Wednesday, as Adam said. We are fully going back into our fun, wacky Wednesdays. Your children will be getting a camp t-shirt before the end of the week to be able to wear on Friday, a tennis racket daily to tennis camp, as well as other things such as a water bottle, a backpack. 1 bathing suit is only needed for these 2 programs due to only having free swim. We do recommend them wearing them as long as they're comfortable in them to camp. It makes it much easier for us to get ready for swim. And you can just have your kids wear their shirt over top or shortened bottoms, depending upon what kind of swimsuit you have them in. 1 towel, a plastic bag for wet items at the end so they don't go back in all wet afterwards, a lunch, and 1 snack. So the morning snack will be provided by you. It will be that snack will be unrefrigerated. So please don't pack a Go-Gurt for that snack. Pack something else. The lunch will be refrigerated and will be given out back at lunchtime. We are excited, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. We do have our hot lunch program back, and we will be starting that program for next week. The directions and menu are now available, which we're excited about. Make sure to put sunscreen on your children before they leave the house for the day, but send it with them and we will reapply. We much prefer spray as much as possible, especially right now. And face sticks are always great for their face. I know, hot lunch, how exciting. And the menu looks really good. For those of you who have tried Chef Dan over at the Park Heights JCC, tired pants everywhere, absolutely. I'm also one of them, and I'm so excited to be able to give hot lunch to my own child. Chef Dan is bringing hot lunch to the Owings Mills J. They're actually also opening at the JCC in Owings Mills, which we're really excited about. But it will not be open for walk-ups just yet. They're just starting off for us with hot lunch. All right, let's see. Your children will also need to bring a mask to camp, but I will talk a little bit more about what that mask policy is in a little bit. First, I'm going to turn it back over to Allie to talk about Lost and Found.
Okay, so the most important thing to do to prevent our lost and found getting huge this summer is to just make sure you label all of your items. We do go through the lost and found every single day, and if there is a labeled item, we are much more likely to find it and return it back to you. This summer in the app, when you click on the Photos tab, you'll see a lost and found album, and that's where we will be posting all of our lost and found items. So make sure you're checking out that tab as well. And if you see something that is definitely your child's, feel free to send me or Matthew an email. We are not able to dry towels this summer like we have in the past, and we also will not be saving underwear or socks due to health concerns. A little bit about camper forms as we are getting closer and closer. Make sure that if you haven't had a chance yet to go into your Camp in Touch account, click on the Forms and Documents section and you'll be able to see all of the required forms. So just so you guys know, medical forms Part A and B are both required, as well as the J Camp's Assumption of Risk and our waiver form. And then the confidential camper profile is optional for campers going into 7th through 10th grade, but we do highly encourage it, and it is mandatory for anybody who is younger than 7th grade. You will also see some additional forms in there as well. There is a medication form packet. If your child will be taking medicine during camp, has an allergy or has asthma, make sure that you click on this packet and you'll be able to find our allergy action plan, our medication authorization form, as well as the asthma action plan, and make sure that you follow up with your doctor to get those filled out. They can either be faxed to me or you can email them to me and scan them in as well, and then I will get that uploaded into your Camp in Touch account. There will also be an option for you to drop off medication with our nurse during back to camp night. And then there is also the authorized grown-ups form. So if there is somebody picking up your child any day this summer, it could only be for one day, make sure that they are listed on the authorized grown-ups form, and it is anybody who is not already listed in your Camp in Touch account. So you don't have to put yourself, you don't have to, if there's another person on your Camp in Touch account, you don't have to put them, like another parent or guardian, but you do have to put anybody who isn't in the Camp in Touch account that could possibly be picking up your child. That way we make sure that the person picking up your child is authorized to pick them up. So now I'm going to turn it back to Emily, and she's going to talk a little bit about our health and safety measures this summer.
All right, everyone, I'm back. Okay, so who are our medical professionals during pre-weeks? So the very first week, which is next week, we are going to be helping, utilizing our Early Learning Center NOAA's ARC nursing team. They're going to be helping us out that first week. Their hours are 9 to 1. So after 1 o'clock, we are certified in CPR, first aid, medication administration training. We will take care of your campers in the afternoon, and that nursing team will be there till 1. During pre-week 2, our nurse share will be starting, and also our on-site nurse during the rest of camp for the rest of the summer. You can always email our medical team at camp.medical@jcc.org. And if you have any questions for us in general, you can always email Allie, myself, and we will point you in the right direction, especially if your camper is sick. Let us know as soon as possible so that way we can contact you and get some more information and determine the status and what we may need in order for your camper to return to camp. Okay. So next slide. The mission of our help team is to treat sick and injured campers and communicate with you. Our protocol is if your camper is going to go home in any different way than you sent them to camp, we will let you know. The skin knee, the bumps, bruise, we'll let you know if there was anything that happened at camp, so you can keep an eye on it, and we'll take care of your campers while they're here. We will administer medication, handle all COVID-related concerns, and provide for the health and safety of all of our campers and staff. All right, so we are going to get into some of the specifics. All right, so what if your camper is sick or gets hurt at camp? So we have no sick campers or staff member who will be permitted at camp. If your child is ill, they must stay at home. If your child has a fever or COVID-like symptom, it must be reported to camp. For pre-weeks, please report to Allie at jcc.org. The one thing I do want to note to you, and we are going to note this in all of our presentations, is the questionnaire in Companion, the symptom question, is set by CampMinder, not us. So the Maryland Department of Health COVID symptoms are slightly different than what the app says. So one symptom your child is allowed to come to camp with is a runny nose or congestion. However, they may only come with that symptom if they can wear a mask, if they have a runny nose. So that is something they are allowed in camp with. Everything else, they must stay home. If you're a camper or we have a staff member who develops any sickness symptom during the day, they will be isolated and required to go home until cleared by a doctor to return. We will follow health and COVID protocols to determine severity of illness. All of our medical policies were created in consultation with our camp health team and our partners at LifeBridge. So you may be asking, when can my camper come back to camp if they're not feeling well? So it depends a little bit about the severity of the sickness and also what are the symptoms, and are they all symptoms of COVID, because the symptom list is pretty specific. And I'm just looking ahead a little bit to see if I have a slide that tells you what those are, which is the next slide. Okay, great. So we're going to go to the next slide, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. So these are the COVID symptoms that are identified by the Maryland Department of Health that we are following in order to make sure that we keep our campus safe. So if your child has any one of these symptoms, they may not come to camp. In order for your child to come back to camp, if that symptom begins to diminish and improve in the next 24 hours, they do not need to go to a doctor. And once it is completely better, they can return to camp. However, if within 24 hours the symptom is either getting worse, not getting any better, or other symptoms are starting to creep in, then you will be required to send your child to the doctor, and we will need a doctor's note in order to return to camp that expresses that it is a different diagnosis other than COVID in order to return. Sometimes the doctor will let you know that you need to get tested out of precaution. And then if your doctor is telling you need to get tested, I can't write a note saying it's not COVID, it is this, then you will have to go get a PCR test, and we will need the negative result in order for your child to return. Our plan is going to be the same as it was last summer if you attended, or if your child was in early childhood this year. If there is any child in your camper's bunk pod group, your one group, who is getting tested for COVID out of precaution, then we will send an email home to let you know. We will not give any identifying information as to who the child is. We will not tell you who it is. It is a HIPAA violation for us to do that. Same thing for staff. If any of our staff need to get tested and they've come into contact with your child, then we will let you know if someone's getting tested, and also that it is a hopefully negative result. Obviously, if it is positive, then we go into a very completely different protocol at that point. Okay, and what if your child has allergies or asthma and other symptoms that are chronic that could mimic a symptom of COVID? So we need to know that in advance. There is a section in our medical forms for you to let us know if your child has any chronic illness that could mimic COVID, because it is only considered a COVID symptom if it is above baseline for your child. So we will make sure to look in CampMinder if your child is coming to us and they're coughing a little bit and they have asthma. That is something that we are going to contact you and determine if it's more than their baseline. That's a really important distinction when it comes to COVID symptoms. Okay, and we will open up to FAQs at the end. So if you have any other specific questions about healthcare and how we're going to be managing sickness, you can feel free to ask at the end or put it in the chat. All right, next slide. Lunch, snack, and allergens. So please make sure to pack a daily kosher style lunch, very different thing. So what kosher style means is that you may not pack meat or dairy together at the same, so please do not pack a turkey and cheese sandwich. However, you are more than welcome to pack either a cheese sandwich or a turkey sandwich. So please don't mix that meat and dairy together in the same place, as well as please no shellfish or pork products. So that is what kosher style means. Make sure to pack a morning labeled snack, as we mentioned, and in the afternoon we'll provide an afternoon snack and challah on Shabbat. We are not a nut-free campus at J Camps. Noah's Ark, there's a differentiation. Noah's Ark is a nut-free camp. We are nut safe. And what that means is that we take every precaution to make sure that we keep your camper safe if they have any allergies. Anything that we provide children will be nut-free and kosher, but we do allow other campers to bring nut products into camp. However, we very strongly suggest not, so that way we can, any camper can sit next to who they want at camp, because if your camper does have an allergy, we're really going to make sure to take a look at those lunches surrounding your camper to make sure that we have a safe distance to maintain safety. During the main camp weeks, we will have staggered lunch periods. So during the pre-weeks, the kids will eat together at their own lunch tables by bunk. During main camp weeks, we will make sure that we're physically distant seating and staggering lunch periods so that we don't have everyone there at the exact same time. All right. Hot lunch, we already mentioned this already, but it is $5.50 per meal. We will have different options daily, including a small a la carte menu. Everything is kosher, delivered to your camper at lunch. Menu and directions are found in your Camp in Touch account. All right, weather, all activities are going to be taking place outside, except for some of our youngest tennis campers will have some tennis instruction inside. What we find is that it is a very long, hot day on the tennis courts when they are outside from 9 to 4. So our youngest tennis campers will have a program inside for about 2 hours in the morning, and then we'll head back outside after that. We will make sure that they are physically distanced in activity areas. We will also make sure that we come inside when there is extreme heat. So those code orange and red days, we're going to keep an eye on the weather, the air quality, and come in when it's not safe. We will continue to swim on those days, however. Heavy rain or severe weather, same thing, we're coming in. Each bunk is assigned a designated area where they will remain throughout the day with their counselors and staff. Instead of in a typical summer, we've had groups moving from space to space in order to do activities. A group has a designated spot, and if there's an activity, that it will come to them in order to not have to turn over rooms in terms of sanitation. And all staff and campers must wear, oh, the mask part is over there, mask while inside the building. So it is going to be a requirement. We're going to talk a little bit about masks, but Maryland Department of Health is still updating their mask requirements based on the new updated CDC youth camp guidelines. However, they're still in the process of updating them. But what we know is that masks are going to be required inside for all campers and staff, whether they're vaccinated or not. The only time they can take them off is when they're eating, when they're drinking, or if they're doing a vigorous activity where it is more unsafe for them to wear them than it is to not. So when we're doing carpool and the kids are inside, they're going to be wearing them. Adam is planning on having his campers wear them inside during tennis instruction, unless there's a situation where he feels that they need to take it off. And of course, they can always step away, and we'll have areas where they can take mask breaks when they're inside if needed. And that is for inside. Okay. So the next slide, we are going to talk a little bit about our camper bunks. So how are we keeping them safe? The bunks will remain together throughout the day. We've mentioned this a little bit already. They will not mix with other bunks, and they will also stay socially distanced of 6 feet from one another. So when we are inside during our carpool times, we actually have visual markers around each camp group to make sure that those groups do not mix with one another. Really, in any areas where we have cohorts coming together to do something, they will be socially distanced, and there will also be visual markers that will be used. So when we are in our lunch tent and we have multiple groups there at a time, we actually have dividers across our tent into 8 sections, so that way the kids know where they can and can't go to make sure that we are keeping everyone safe and that pod structure is maintaining. The goal is to limit exposure to a set of group of campers and staff. That's our main goal, is that if for any reason, heaven forbid, there is a positive case anywhere at camp, it is contained to that group and there's not exposure across multiple groups. All right, so masks. When do your kids need to wear masks? All staff and campers while indoors, unless they're eating or drinking, as I mentioned. Parents, guardians, and grown-ups dropping off or picking up. And this was asked earlier, are we taking vaccination status into account during that time? Unfortunately, we can't. There's no way for us to manage and know who's vaccinated or not with the amount of parents and different caregivers that are picking up. And because we don't know that, we need to make sure that we keep our staff and everyone around them safe. So really, when you're in carpool line and your windows are up and you're not around anyone else, you don't need your mask on. But when you are up against the curbside and we're about to open the car doors and your children are entering or exiting, we do ask that you put your mask on during that time. Leave it in your car if you don't usually wear a mask. Just pop it on during that time for us. It'll make sure that we keep everyone safe. Campers and staff outdoors will only be wearing masks when we cannot have when there is sustained social distancing. When that is not possible, we will be wearing masks. That is likely not going to happen very often. So our goal is to not have to wear masks. However, when we cannot keep the kids separated for an extended period of time, then they will have to put them on. So what that means, for instance, is if your children are in an activity outside, for instance, an arts and crafts activity, and for whatever reason, we cannot keep the kids socially distanced from one another, and they're going to sit next to each other for 10 to 15 minutes, then they will need to wear a mask during that activity. However, if they're at sports, they're at Gaga, they're at an activity where they're constantly going to be moving, and they're not going to have sustained contact with one another, then they can take them off and they don't need to wear them for that activity. All the research is showing that outdoors is a much safer place for us to be. However, it is when the kids and staff are going to be continuously next to each other is when they need to wear them to make sure that we're staying safe. And we are going to keep that rule for vaccinated and non-vaccinated individuals. Reason being, a lot of our staff are going to be vaccinated this summer. However, we know that our counselors are role models for your children, and we want to make sure that if we're asking your kids to wear a mask, that our staff are wearing the mask as well. So really, when the kids are wearing it, the staff are wearing it, and when the kids don't need to wear it, same reason, because they're not having sustained social contact, then they don't need to wear it either. So that will stay the same across all of our weeks this summer, unless there is any update from the Maryland Department of Health or CDC. We follow what they tell us to, and we also make some determinations on what we feel most comfortable with. So that is where we are going to start the summer at, and we will continue to update and let you know if there's any changes to that protocol. But as of now, that's where we're starting this summer. All right, what bathrooms will be campers using? We all have designated bathrooms both inside and outside of camp. So we will be using certain bathrooms to make sure that not everyone's going to the same place at the same time. And high touch surfaces are sanitized between groups as well. All right, next slide. Infection control. What are you doing to increase sanitation this summer? We're going to have increased routine cleaning and disinfecting, just as we did last summer. Hand washing before and after each activity. We do have additional hand washing and sanitation around camp and designated times to wash hands in our daily schedule. High touch surfaces are going to be disinfected. Bunks will have their own supplies. If it is a small item that cannot be sanitized between groups, we'll each have our own set of kind of bunk supplies. If it's something like markers, crayons, that it would be too hard to sanitize every single individual one in between. We will have additional signage and reminders around campus for everybody and designated walking paths to go between activities. We don't want everyone going to the same place at the same time crossing over to make sure that we're keeping those cohorts separate from one another. And Olga, for the instructions for hot lunch, if they're not up in your forms and documents section yet, they will be by the end of the night. We just got the instructions last night. So we had the menu up, and if you don't see the instructions yet, they will be there momentarily. We just have to update the instructions in there as well. So we'll double check that for you. All right, so now I believe we are on to our question and answer of the evening. So please type any additional questions you have in the chat, and we will work to answer anything else that you may have this evening.
Okay. There are some questions we did not answer.
Okay.
So the first question is, will you let us know if someone at camp, without naming names, has a peanut allergy, for example, so we can know whether or not we could pack it? Emily, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we don't send out we do not send out that information. It changes from week to week, bunk to bunk. So we don't send anything out to the parents letting them know. Honestly, there are a lot of campers across our program that have peanut allergies though. So I would err on the side of, if you're worried and you want to make sure that your child is being super inclusive, just don't pack for the summer. Pack soy nut butters, pack sunflower butter, pack something else for those weeks.
Okay, great. The next question is, are bunks mixed during swim?
Yeah, so the bunks will be in the pool at the same time. There is a lot of research that shows that the possibility of contracting and moving COVID in a pool with the chlorine is extremely, extremely low. The kids, though, at that also will not be having sustained constant contact with one another in the pool. They'll be, if you've ever watched kids play in the pool, they're always moving. So there will be multiple groups in the pool. However, there will be less groups than we typically have in a normal summer, and we'll be spreading them out in throughout the pool. We made sure that, especially in our main weeks of camp, that we have different age groups and swim levels swimming at the time to make sure that we're spreading out across the pool, and we won't have too overcrowded of any one section.
The next question is, can you complete the COVID screening before you leave for drop off, or are we supposed to do it in the car? So you can complete it before you leave for drop off at home. Just make sure that you have your result ready to show whoever is checking you at carpool. And
one thing just to note is that when you go back into the app, it doesn't show you the result again. So either once you complete it, either take a screenshot of it, or you're going to have to open your email with the result. Once you go back into the app, you'll have to redo the questions if you don't do one of those two things.
And right now that is all I see. If I missed something, feel free to put it back in the chat. But if not, I guess we'll end the night.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll hang around for another minute or two in case there's anyone who has any additional individual questions for us for just a few moments. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming tonight. We really, really appreciate it. We cannot wait to have your children with us starting on Monday, and have a wonderful evening. Yes, the children will have a chance to change into dry clothes after free swim. We will go into the locker rooms and get changed. So make sure to send dry clothes after. They will be much more comfortable that way.
Is this essentially gonna be the same type of orientation for the normal J camps? Is there anything?
If you were at this one, you don't need to come again. There's not much more information that we're going to share. There's little teensy tiny things like morning carpool's an extra 10 minutes because it's going to take longer with more cars. But if you came to this one, you'll be good.
And will they have a refrigerator for their lunch then at the normal J camps?
Yes.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for telling me that. You saved me like an hour. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for everything.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure.
Of course.
We can't wait either. We're so excited to see your kids and play with them.
Bye, Lauren. Thanks so much.
Bye, Lauren.
All right. We still got a few more.
Mr. Huang, could you send me an email and I will look into that for you tomorrow? I just don't have access to that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.